Shalom Aleichem. Mishnah Yomi is continuing in chapter 21 of Shabbat, Mishnah Bet. Ha'evin shel pi chabit. If there's a stone over the mouth of the jug. This is a jug of wine. He goes down to his wine cellar and he sees there's a stone on there. And stones are typically muksa. So what does he do? Mata ol tzidah v'hinofelet. So you tilt the barrel to the side so the stone will fall off the top. So again, you're not moving the muksa directly, but you are tilting something in a way where it can fall off. And the Mefarshim here say this is not where you put the stone on top on purpose, because then the jug below the stone would become a bosis l'davar asur, become a bosis or a base or a support, and would itself become muksa. So it's where the stone's on there accidentally, they don't really want the stone on there, then they can tilt it and take the muksa off. Haita beina chaviot, if this one jug of wine is between the other jugs, the other barrels, and there's a problem, if you start tilting stones off, the stone could break something, and God forbid they should spill any wine. Magbia matal tzida v'hinofelet. So lift out the jug with the rock, take it away from other delicate items, other jugs, and then tilt it and get the rock off. Again, it's indirect. Maut shalakar, what if there's money on the pillow? Nowhere at the car v'hinofelet. You could pick up the pillow itself and let the money fall off by itself without handling the money. Haita olav lishleshet. If there's lishleshet is like schmutz. For instance, the chicken walked in there and did business on the pillow. Mekoncha bismartud. So wipe it off with a rag. Haita shel or. If it's a leather pillow, notnin aleha mayim. You could put water on the schmutz to dissolve it and remove it. Now, the issue here is laundering. If it's a regular cloth pillow, then putting water on it is washing it, is libun. It's a malacha. But so just wiping it with dry, just doing a dry cleaning would be allowed. But leather is not absorbent, so you could pour the water on it. In the Bar Nura and Tiferes Yisrael note that if the leather is soft, you can't rub it because that would be kibbutz, that would be laundering on Shabbos, only if the leather is hard. But to pour the water on, even on the soft leather, they do allow. On to Mishnah Gimel. Beit Shammai omrim magbiin min shulchan atzamot uklipin. Says we can lift off bones and shells from the table. What's going on here is they ate a suda, and they have some nutshells, they have some bones from their flesh, and they can take it off. It's not muksa because you can feed it to your animals. Behil omrim note olatovla kula uminara. He says lift up the whole board, the whole tabletop itself, and you shake that so everything falls off by itself without you handling it. Because, these items, according to Beit Hillel, they weren't really, you didn't have in mind Erev Shabbos that they'd become animal food. They memela became animal food during the course of your Suda already after Shabbos began. So it's kind of, it's a nolad. It became fitting now, but it was muksa, it's kind of a quasi-muksa here. And the Mishnah continues, Ma'avirin milfnei shulchan, you can remove from the table, again, by hand, perurin b'chot mikazayit, crumbs that are less than a kazayit in size, se'ar shel afunin, literally the hair of the beans. It's like the pods around the beans. Sar shel adoshim, and the pods of lentils, because these are not muksa, they are animal food. They were animal food even before Shabbos began. Sfog, what about your sponge? So again, we're talking about cleaning the table. Could they wipe the table with a sponge? If it has a leather handle, it's not just a sponge, but there's leather attached to it that you hold on to, then you can go ahead and wipe the table with this sponge. Now again, this is when it's dry. You have no kavana to squeeze water or liquids out. You're just trying to wipe off the table. So if it happens to absorb some water that's been spilled on the table, then so it happens to come out later, it's darshan miskavah. He's not really intending to. He's not intending to use a wet sponge and squeeze it out to clean. The Mishnah says, Im lov, it doesn't have a handle, ein mekon chidbo. You can't wipe the table with it because if he's holding the sponge in his hand, that act will be squeezing, will definitely be squeezing, and it will be kibbutz, it'll be washing the sponge by wringing water out of it. They say even with a handle or without a handle, you can move it on Shabbat because the sponge is a kli, ain't a mikabel tuma. But even though it's a kli, a sponge is not mikabel tuma. So the tuma, any kli can become tame, but a sponge is not a material that becomes tame. It's not like wood or metal or cloth or earthenware or garments or clothing. It's not one of these things. Even if it has a handle, the ikar is still the sponge, and it's not mekabel tuma. Shkoyach Rabosai.